name is Corri Turmell, and today I'm going to tell you about the birth of my first child. Today's sources are going to be from myself and my husband, Scott Turmell. First off, finding out. It all started in 2012 when my husband and I were on leave in Michigan. It was Christmas Eve, and we found out, and we were totally ecstatic. It was a little unexpected, but still very excited. And the next morning, when everybody was opening up their gifts, we had another one for them, and they were super excited as well. A few months later, we found out the sex of the baby and that it was a boy. And this made me very, very happy because growing up, I had a big brother, and he always took care of me, and I always wanted that for my children. The due date for the baby was August 23rd, and we had a bunch of family coming in, but my mom needed a set date because she couldn't get the time off. So we decided to induce, and so my mother could come. The day before that I induced, I had another doctor's appointment to see if I was dilated, and I wasn't at all. So they decided to admit me into the hospital a day early. They started giving me some drugs to help the process along, but the baby didn't like that, and his heartbeat kept going up and down with my contractions. And as my contractions got worse, I decided from going to all-natural childbirth to actually getting an epidural. I got my epidural, and it seemed fine for a while, and they monitored the baby, but his heartbeat kept going up and down. And the next morning, all my doctors rushed in and said, okay, we don't like the looks of what's going on. We want to give you a C-section. We think maybe the umbilical cord is wrapped around his a body part. And this made me so very nervous, but I knew that's what I had to do. And they took me to the OR right away, and I started crying, like absolutely bawling. But my husband was right next to me the entire time. And the whole process from start to finish was about an hour. And within the first 20 minutes of it, they pulled out the baby, and he didn't start crying right away, so I started freaking out. But they were like, no, he's okay, he's crying now. And they took his little footprints and showed them to me, and one of them had messed up, and it didn't have his fifth toe, so I was a little messed up about that too. But finally, they put him on my chest, and he looked up at me, and I started bawling. It was the most joyful moment of my life. And on that day, August 21st, I had Scott Wesley Turmell III. They call him ST3. It was by far the happiest day I've ever had. I'd like to thank you guys for letting me share this story with you, and I hope you'll have a good evening.